If you're in the market for investment-worthy bags, watches, and fine jewelry, Rebag is the answer. Rebag is a luxury resale marketplace where each piece is carefully vetted and verified by experts to ensure quality and authenticity. If you're in the market, use Rebag to buy and sell finds from the world's top brands, including Hermes, Chanel, and Cartier. Head to Rebag.com to get 10% off your first purchase with code REBAG10. Shop today at Rebag.com. That's REBAG.com and use promo code REBAG10 for 10% off your first purchase.
The following is a GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to GoPowercat.com's Powercat Insiders podcast, presented by Commerce Bank, and it starts right now. Now, let's go to the WTC Gig-Powered Studios. Here's your host, GoPowercat.com publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to the Powercat Insiders podcast from Memphis. The Insiders are inside my hotel room. It is as romantic as it sounds. Tim Fitzgerald, Matt Walters, Kellis Robinette, and Ryan Black. Catfish himself is back home in the South.
Catfish hunter.
Yep.
Oh, man.
This has been a Robbins road trip. Robbins Motor Company sponsored our little trip here. What we didn't expect was to have construction outside of our hotel here, so occasionally they like to back things up for extended periods of time.
Is it worse than what it was in Charlotte for the tournament a couple of years ago?
Wasn't that like construction sounds? This is just like a beeping.
Okay, no, yeah, those were actual constructions, like them banging on the hotel and everything.
The other
in Charlotte.
Cool thing about room 1050, oh God, I just invited
everyone. You really did that?
I just invited everyone to the room.
We haven't said what hotel yet, though.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
Oh, I did on a previous podcast. They have to be a loyal listener to figure this out. Is our wall here backs up to the elevators. I don't trust the middle elevator because when you hear it, it sounds like the cable's about to snap at any moment because it's a god-awful sound as it passes by the room. It's lovely. Anyhow.
Bigger things to worry about.
Well, I mean, at least I didn't get stuck in an elevator with ducks, as Chris Kleiman did this week, or yesterday, wasn't it? That is so funny. He was the duck marshal. What is that called? The duck
master?
Duck master, yeah.
Duck master. And then as they took the ducks to the roof, the elevator got stuck.
I think they tried to sell them insurance.
Dynamite drop.
Good job,
Catfish.
Good job, Catfish.
Nice job.
Oh, man.
I liked it.
Saban wasn't with them, I guess.
Oh, my goodness.
That might be the rant for the day. Insurance.
I was wondering if that had gotten any longer, if he would have started eyeing which duck would be the first to go. Like, if they weren't going to starve to death. They had fresh meat on the elevator with them. We are sponsored by Commerce Bank because they give us Matt Walters, and he's got to now get out the reads because I forgot to bring the reads, so we have a phone
This has
version
got to be more of a priority for you in 2020.
I remembered everything except the reads are on my desk. Right. I got the reads out of the studio into my office, and they didn't make it into the podcast bag.
Life is full of moments, big and small, just like right now. Commerce Bank has the technology and the people to help with whatever financial challenges come your direction. Commerce Bank, challenge accepted.
If you're still heading this way for Tuesday's 2:45 kickoff, throw in a coat. Got a little chilly on us. Mm-hmm. The rain's out of the forecast. Yeah. That's good.
Spoilers.
It's supposed to be a high of 50 tomorrow at the Liberty Bowl, and it's a little nippy compared to what it has been. It was supposed to be in the 60s, but I'll take it. There's no ice here.
It's not like it was in Chicago, so take it and run.
Yeah, that's true. Chicago's always icy. Mm-hmm. It's either windy or icy.
And it was both.
Gentlemen, let's start with you, Kellis. What do you think of this matchup between Navy and Kansas State?
I'm ready to finally see it.
I know.
We've been talking about the option for a whole month. Yeah. I want to see how they defend it, how they run it. I kind of got a taste watching Air Force play Washington State in the Cheez-It Bowl the other day. But then we get here, and it's funny, you talk to Scotty Hazelton about it. He's like, their triple option offense is totally different from Navy's. I don't really see how that can be. But the funniest thing to me in that game was they had a 4th and 1 in their own territory where the announcers were saying, this is kind of a risky play for them. I don't know if they should go for this or not. But they just lined up, no hesitation, QB sneak, like 5-yard gain. Like, If they really wanted to, they could just do that all game. QB sneak, QB sneak, QB sneak. It'd be amazing to see a team score that way with nothing but QB sneak.
I think we did with Colin Klein at Kansas State.
It really was amazing to hear their offense coordinator say that he only calls 6 plays in games.
That was incredible.
That was the most amazing thing I've ever heard. I hope that's what all it is, like a Tecmo Bowl kind of thing, where he's on the sidelines saying, all right, let's go with play A this time.
It's like a book
D
report.
Next.
It's like a book report. You and I don't know about you, Catfish, but it's like a book report we wrote years and years ago, where you had like the big I, and then you had A, and then like 9 different points under it, and then you went to B, and then you had so they run 6 plays. There's just 58 different options off of them. But I'm like you. I think it's going to be cool to see how they try to attack K-State from the get-go tomorrow.
Now, let's clarify. They have more than 6 plays, but he said when they're in system, like probably against Army, they ran 6 variations off their 6 plays.
When it's rolling, you don't have to do much.
Well, because within every play, there's 3 plays. I mean, there's variations before the snap, but then do you hand it off? Do you keep it? Do you pitch it? Do you throw it? There's just all kinds of things you can do out of each play.
It's rarely throwing it, though.
Well, when they're winning,
throw it 12% of the time. I figured it out.
Yeah,
I would have thought it was even less than that. Honestly,
I think it gets skewed because in games like Army, they just don't have to throw it. They just keep running it and keep running it.
Yeah, their only throw was by the halfback in that game.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't watch the entire game. I was at a Christmas party, and that was more important to me. But apparently, they did call passing plays. He just tucked it and ran because Army forgot to cover Malcolm Perry when he had the ball.
Man, it's an early Christmas party game until December 14th.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah, you got to get him out of the way.
Wow.
You got to get him out of the way. It was the wife's, so I was a hostage. I hope she's not listening. But I'm kind of sick of talking about it, like Kella said. And this is a cool setup. We had on Saturday we had coordinators and players, and Sunday coordinators and players. Monday today we had the head coaches. So we've had a nice 3-day run up. It's been fun to cover. And but boy, it's just kind of a one-dimensional game. I hate to say it, but if K-State can stop the option, their chances are astronomically better to win. If they can't, it's astronomically more to lose. I mean, it just really comes down to how they defend this.
Something I want to bring up real quick is just that it has nothing to do with really the game. And again, I only covered the Snyder era the last year and a half, but just like the fact that I know for you guys who covered it for a very long time, the fact that you come down here and we get both the coordinators, and that's like nothing now. But like just how different that is. It's just kind of like meh. It's like when we get them every week, and you get the other assistants in a row. Like just how different that is to come to a bowl game and getting the coordinators just not being any kind of big deal.
Oh, Maddie and I are old enough that we had coordinators in Snyder 1.0. We the Tuesday press conference. We'd request them just like players, and then they'd...
But was it only coordinators?
No, we'd have coaches.
Okay, so wow, okay.
And then it kind of went south, and then we never had them again.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest bowl experience was at the Pinstripe Bowl when all our fights got delayed and we couldn't make it there on time for the coordinator press conferences.
The blizzard of all blizzards.
Yeah, they had Dimmel and whoever the defense coordinator was at the time just sit there and talk to nobody. And I remember asking Kenny, I was like, "Hey, is there any way we could get that rescheduled for the day we get up there and move them?" And
just
like
talk
even
to phone
it
in like a teleconference.
We asked for that too, and he was just like, No contingency plans will be made for you.
Yeah.
You missed your one chance.
The Pinstripe Bowl. Burn in hell, Pinstripe Bowl. That just, I'm glad that's no longer a Big 12 Bowl. It's either bad weather, always bad traffic. It's just
the amount of expense that you're spending to be up around there with hotels.
I know. Outdoor press box.
D. Scott told me that's the only game he's missed in like 20 years or something. K-State.
Yeah, it was the first game I had missed. No, that's not correct. I had missed a Ron Prince game at Fresno. I chose to go to Orlando for basketball. I think I chose wisely. And then I missed the Pinstripe Bowl, and those were the first games I had missed since the end of the '94 season.
I think K-State had the last plane to get into LaGuardia.
Oh, it was a mess
on that trip because of the snowstorm.
They weren't supposed to land, but Snyder was basically said, "We got to land now. I don't care how bad it is. We're landing. We got to start bowl prep."
Oh my goodness! Yeah, luckily Rob Cassidy from our staff was in New York because he's got relatives there, so he was already on the ground. So he just handled it all. We got to the desk of the American counter at the airport, and they said, "It's going to be 2 days before we can get you in. We can get you out of here, but you'll be in O'Hare for 2 days." And I said, I'm going to pass him.
Nope.
I love how dramatic that sounds. Snyder's like, you've got to land this plane.
Like a scene from Airplane. We got to land it. Roger,
You should go talk to some players from that team. They were, like Chris Harper has told stories about being genuinely terrified about landing on ice.
Oh, yeah, but we're actually talking about this game now, right?
This game.
Anyway, I didn't mean to get us that sidetracked. I was just bringing up the point to folks that they just maybe from our perspective don't understand how different it is actually getting to cover a team where you get to talk to the coordinator.
The
and
context of your coverage is, it's just, there's so much more there, substance. Mm-hmm. There's such good information, and I really enjoyed talking to the Navy coordinators. Of course, Brian Norwood, it was good to see him. Just a great guy, and I'm glad he ended up at a place he's so familiar with, and with the coach he's been. I didn't know he'd been friends with the head coach since they were 10 years old, he said. So that's very interesting. But yeah, it really helps your coverage. Mm-hmm. You really get a better feel for things. Although it's allowed us to ask many people about Malcolm Perry. I haven't asked so many questions about a 21-year-old boy in my entire life, man, in my entire life.
So what's the feel, because I didn't get here till today, what's the feel you guys have regarding the Naval Academy?
They're impressive. I mean, it really is kind of an honor to meet these guys that have, as Diego Fagot said, was it Fagot? Said that you give 4 years of your life for 40. I mean, you go to the academy for 4 years, then you're set up with a career for 40. I can't imagine making that decision when I'm 18. But these guys are impressive, but you notice the size difference. This is one of the first bowl games I remember. K-State is clearly the bigger team. I mean, I was talking.
Well, when K-State was here last time, that wasn't the case.
Those giant Arkansas linemen.
The second biggest lineman ever. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was that year they had it was bigger than most NFL teams.
Because they put him right in the middle on PAT and field goal.
Yep. I remember, though, Fiesta Bowl before all the crap hit the fan back in the day when we walked into the press conference with Ohio State, and I just kind of turned around to someone and said, we're all going to die. I mean, Ohio State was huge compared to everyone else at K-State. And
kind of like with Oregon, too.
And I remember UCLA, running by in that bowl game, and they were enormous. I mean, this is such a physical mismatch. That won't be the case. K-State is clearly the bigger, probably more athletic team, and that's where I think if K-State can handle this option, it's really good for the Wildcats because if they're loyal to their assigned duties on every play, they're going to be more physical and faster than the opponent.
Well, we've just talked so much about the Navy offense for K-State defense. I'm really interested to see the K-State offense mainly because in his press conference today, Chris Kleiman said this is the first time they're going to have all their backs healthy, since the beginning of the season, and we expect.
Do you think we'll see that 3-back set? I hope so.
I think so,
probably
for sure.
And
you're referring to the inverted one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they just haven't run it as much as I expected this year because of the injuries.
Yeah.
And I know they ran it some with Jack Stanine, but I just really think it's most effective with Gilbert Brown and Trotter. Because Trotter's a great blocker.
I want to see if they throw to Malik Knowles again.
Ever?
Well, I mean, yes, that would be nice. But just today, I mean, it seems like he's healthy, healthier than he has been all season 2.
I was intrigued by that. Their coordinators really didn't note him.
Their players didn't even mention the K-State could throw the ball. If there's any sense of trash talk from this game, it's that. They didn't mention Thompson or any kind of vertical game at all.
Yeah, they said he's more of a runner than thrower, and I'm like,
Well, I thought, who was it? Was it their defensive coordinator who, maybe it's Kelly, because you asked specifically about Youngblood, and then he brought up Youngblood and Dalton Schoen. Somebody from Navy, I just know from the transcripts, they were talking about Schoen and
Youngblood. Yeah, it was their coordinator.
All their players, all 4 players, though, you asked what stands there, what do you guys need to do to beat K-State, and the answer is identical. We got to stop the run. There's no mention of the pass.
I did love that, aside from Perry, the other 3 players Navy brought offensively were all linemen.
I know.
That's pretty funny.
None of them were huge. I mean, I went over and talked to the center. He has to be 250. I mean, I don't know what they list him at, but he wasn't very big. And that's why they cut block.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's why they cut block, because they don't have the size to stand up and push you all over the place. That's why they run the option, too.
I asked him, I said, did you get tired cut blocking? And he goes, oh, no.
They love it.
I love it. He goes, because by the second half, you can see the look in their eyes. They're just tired of being cut block. And how horrible would that be for an entire day? Imagine, half of 3 hours of your life, someone's diving at your feet, diving at your knees. It's like, stop it. Stop. Just make it stop. So
it'd be frustrating when you're trying to write. You're like, hey, I'm trying to write, and you're cutting me at the knees.
I know.
This is just annoying.
I know. It would be tough to do your
catfish.
job. Doesn't matter what you're doing in life.
That one wasn't as good. That one wasn't
just saying.
That one flopped.
Oh, gosh. Well, we'll just edit it out.
Throw that one back.
How about we edit it out?
Take out the hook.
Oh, thanks, Fitz.
No,
I'm going to edit it
that
out.
one back in the lake.
Do you think K-State will run or throw the ball? I think they're going to end up throwing it a little bit more. I mean, they're going to run the ball, but I think they probably have some matchups in that Navy secondary they like.
Malik Knowles gets to 100-plus yards receiving.
Whoa.
That's my prediction.
Whoa.
K-State goes deep on the first play of the game.
That'd be something else.
Like Texas. Well, not on their first play.
I do think no matter what they've said, I think this is a game where they don't want to win time of possession. I don't think they care about it. Like, for once, just because of the opponent. I think they're fine. As long as they score.
It's got to score touchdowns.
They get, and especially if they get a lead, I think they would be very happy to go up like 10-0.
That puts Navy in a bind.
It does.
And keep the ball for 20 minutes. I think they'd be fine with
Yeah, that puts Navy in a bind. Yeah, if you get them down, by a couple scores, 3 scores certainly, you start to bring in the need to throw the ball a little bit in, and that really is not their thing. It's their thing when you don't expect it. But if you're expecting it, that's not nearly as effective. There's some similarities if you watch the offenses and how they get about things. I mean, the results, how the option, all that's different. But they love to sneak those linebacker or those running backs and tight ends behind your linebackers. They just, you got to keep if you're got a tight end responsibility, you got to know what he's doing because he'll run right by you if you take your eyes off of him.
So you mentioned Navy's OC saying we run just 6 plays. What's been the most notable thing or two from a K-State coach or player in the last couple days?
It kind of cracked me up just how annoyed Scotty Hazelton seemed to have to be defending the option again.
Oh, I know. That was funny. I asked him about, you've worked so hard this season on being assignment sound and wrapping up with tackling, and now here you are in this game. If you don't do those 2 things, you're going to be in big trouble. And he said, Klanderman brought that up, that it was the best opponent for us to get better at what we've not been good at. He goes, well, I don't feel the same way. I just hate cover. I hate doing this. Because they really are going to run. And Kleiman just said it today. He just flat out said it. None of the defensive calls they've made all year will be used in this game. How about that? They are running a different defense than they've run this year. So I'm very interested to see what that will be. Because they have some injuries. They're down a nickelback. We found out Jonathan Alexander's a game-time decision. They've got some issues that the guys that you would think would be, important in those roles, Jonathan Alexander in particular, can play a hybrid linebacker safety. I'm just going to be intrigued to see how they line up on defense.
Yeah, I think Hazelton's exact quote was, it's followed me around.
Yeah, it's a haunting.
Yeah.
I know.
He keeps changing jobs and keeps getting to defend the option.
Yeah.
And nobody's talked about it, but Kleiman mentioned it in Manhattan that, they have 2 defensive coaches, Wyatt and Malone, that came from SMU, and they play Navy every year. So they've seen it, too, on a regular basis. They've seen this offense. The difference with this offense is Malcolm Perry. He is really special. He's not very big. I knew he wasn't big from watching games, but when I saw him in person, who would you compare him to, Gus?
I don't know.
Like
Kyler
Josh,
Murray? I don't
Josh,
know.
no, in size, like Josh Youngblood. I mean, he's not big at all. Maybe a little thicker than Youngblood, but yeah.
I even kind of asked him. I said, I just wondered, how do you, take the beating of running all those times every game? And basically just said he spends every waking moment in the training room.
I know against Army, it's hard to get him squared up. It's hard to get him where you get a full shot at him. That he turns, he dives, he gets out. He's good about stepping out of bounds, which I think makes him more elusive because he could step out or step back into play and really mess with you. And I loved watching him against Army. It was beautiful. I mean, if you like that old school offense, because this really is a dinosaur offense, Bill Snyder would love to have run this offense. I bet. It's really, when it's well done, it's really neat to watch, and it's going to be a real test for K-State. I just want to get this game going, man. In that crappy old press box.
It'll be a big win if they can get it. They haven't beat a ranked team in a bowl since forever ago.
Yeah. I keep forgetting Navy's ranked.
21, baby.
They're a good team. It's going to be an interesting matchup, 2:45 at the Liberty Bowl. It's on ESPN if you're at home. A lot of K-Staters here, guys.
Oh, yeah, everywhere I go. I mean, you can't miss them.
They showed up today, for sure.
I think a lot of people post-Christmas were like, yeah, let's go. You know, they hadn't really committed to going, but they saw that there was tickets available. They saw that there's hotels available. Yeah, let's go.
They're definitely going to have the crowd advantage. There's not going to be many Navy. Does Navy have even fans that follow them?
I don't know. They don't have media that follows them. There's been one guy that showed up late yesterday, I think. And then their official Navy media people are here. But no, other than that, it's going to be a purple stadium. What fan base is there? Well,
I was going to say, it definitely struck me that, and I think I was telling this to some of the TV guys who cover K-State, but just far and away the fewest visiting or whatever opponent media corps I've ever seen.
It's odd. Game. You would think, I don't know. You would just think.
That UCLA game, there was a lot of people, from the LA market, plus the fact that it was like was Rosen going to play or was he not? There was a lot of attention on UCLA, even though not like they were a good team, really.
Yeah, I guess there's no reason for the Baltimore media to show up. I mean, your readership isn't fans. The fans are just kind of national. I have a buddy that served in the Navy. He wasn't an officer, and he goes, I don't know who to cheer for because he's a K-State fan. I go, you got to cheer for
Their
Navy.
Their fans are either parents or former players.
Yeah, or officers. So it was interesting, because another thing that I spoke to the players about was they have to declare at the end of their first semester of their senior year what part of the Navy, what branch of the Navy they're going to go into. Malcolm Perry's going to be a Marine. No shock there. The nose tackle, whose name escapes me, said he's going to go into surface warfare. I said, nobody wants to go on the submarines today. And he goes, oh, there's guys that want to do the submarines. Not me. And I'm like, I'm with you. There's no way I want to go underwater for 2 months at a time.
My dad loved it. So he did 2 tours on them.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what my buddy did. He was 6 months down at a time, nuclear warhead operator.
Well, it's like if you can withstand not seeing land for a long time, like once you've been down long enough,
and you're not claustrophobic.
Feel that too, yeah. But I'm just saying that you kind of get used to. It's like it's kind of like walking around in a hotel. It's like you kind of walk through the same spaces. Like if you just don't think about the fact you're underwater, then it's not as difficult as you would think in that regard. But I know it just takes a very specific kind of person to be able to deal with that,
and not a big person. If you've ever been on a submarine.
Wait, here's a funny little fact though, and you maybe heard this. Maybe D. Scott mentioned it at some point. You would think it's really terrible for tall people, but they're actually better because they're so used to ducking their heads all the time. So they're actually better on submarines than you would think.
Interesting, because those doorways.
Kellis is like,
they're better at what?
Well, I mean, it worked out well for David Robinson. He didn't even have to go on one.
I like it.
But I just meant that so many people have to get used to the constant because I don't know exactly.
I duck a lot. Yeah.
The doorways are not even. I don't know what the height of it is, but I'm saying if you're taller, you're already used to ducking your head all the time because it comes naturally.
Okay.
Whereas other people who aren't even super tall, but you still have to duck your head.
Because I think they're like 5 feet, the doorways.
Catfish is rolling today.
I'm just trying to make up for my compass that I'm going to have to bring to the next podcast that you guys are going to have to.
Before we take a break, I got one important topic. Memphis barbecue.
Oh, no.
I want to try.
Do you agree with me?
Yes. I want to try, what is it, Central?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's talking about Central Barbecue. Yeah. That's what Ryan Wallace says, Central Barbecue. And even the Memphis people are like, Rendezvous's not that good anymore. It was bad. The ribs last night were bad. I mean, they were just like any guy with a Traeger is going to do a better job than they did. Heck, any guy with a
is Central down in this neck of the woods then?
I think it's
like a mile that way.
Okay.
He pointed.
I think I got it right. South.
Awesome.
I don't even know what that way is. I'm not sure. I have no.
To me, it's that way.
I have no internal compass.
I think actually that's west because if this is pointing the direction I thought, and I've been parking in this parking garage.
Is Beale Street out there?
It's on West Union.
It's on the other side of Beale Street.
I don't even know where I'm at.
I've been there. I mean, it's probably better than some other stuff in town. But the thing everybody recommends there is nachos. So
what?
If your dish to eat is barbecue nachos, come on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be the outlier because I'm gonna go find Dyer's Burgers.
I want to try that.
Burger sounds good.
Because I saw them on Food Network years and years ago, and I just got to see if they're what everybody says they are.
And they've cooked in the same grease for 100 years.
Yep.
I've been here twice and tried maybe 5 different barbecue places, and
I'm disturbed.
It's fine.
By the phrase that was used in the press conference by the CEO or whatever his title is, asking Coach Kleiman, does he like his ribs dry or wet? That just bothers me. It's like the word moist. I don't want to have my ribs described as wet.
Then how should they be described?
Well, dry sounds pretty gross, too.
Dry sounds...
flavor.
Exactly.
Yeah, dry sounds like talcum powder.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, of course, what they're referring to is just dry meaning more of a rub versus wet being with the sauce. I mean,
yeah.
So you want rub or sauce?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's what it is. Why are we saying dry or wet?
Because it's history.
Yeah, I
guess the thing that kind of annoys me here is they like don't put the seasoning on while they cook it. They just give it to you and expect you to put it on afterward at the table. That to me is disgusting.
It's just weird. The whole thing's weird.
Well, I liked it yesterday, actually, so I know I'm the outlier.
Well,
I didn't have a problem with it.
You're Southern.
It was like Chili's barbecue to me.
I don't think it was that good. I don't think it was that good.
No disrespect to Chili's, but I don't know if I've ever been there in my life.
Wow, never been to Chili's. I mean,
it's not somewhere that it would be at the top of my list to go to.
In the pyramid of chain restaurants, Chili's is my place.
Wow.
I mean, if I got to go to a chain restaurant,
any chain restaurant,
they've got good stuff.
Well, I mean, like national ones. Like we ate at the Brazilian Steakhouse. That's a chain, but they're not. There's not one in Manhattan.
Like I would much rather go to Longhorn or Outback.
I would take it over Outback
for a steak. Yeah, but there's good stuff that Chili's has.
Their fajitas are legit.
You know the thing that really...
I'll eat at Chili's at the airport. It's
Buffalo chicken salad. They've got good chips and salsa.
Do you know something that really blows people's minds? I've never been to Chipotle.
Oh my goodness,
that's just
catfish. Come on.
I mean, I know all the sorority girls who listen to this are going to be devastated.
We have a big.
Well, have you been to Qdoba?
He goes to Long John Silver's all the time.
I do like Long John Silver's. Thank you.
Oh boy,
but
get the extra crunchies.
I like the
crumbs.
Man, that sounds good.
I like the. What's the?
Dude, we only have X amount of time for this.
Oh, hold on.
You can talk just for 10 minutes about
Qdoba. I've had it because K-State serves it at the media stuff, and I enjoy it.
That's good.
Then go eat Chipotle.
There's not like any kind of controversy I have. I just have never gone.
Yeah, you might want to practice eating a burrito because they're not like the little burrito you get at a typical restaurant. They're like they're going to explode at any moment. There's an art to eating.
Get a double wrap.
Wait, just because we've gone so far down this rabbit hole, I just want to know because you guys
double
have been
wrapped.
Here.
You eat the double tortillas?
No. I get the bowl.
Yeah,
because
I'm
the
a bowl
tortilla
guy.
takes up space.
No, I'm just saying that since we've already gone this far down this rabbit hole, and you guys have been here for as long as this kind of thing first came out. Before I got to K-State, there was always that thing about like Bill Snyder eats Taco Bell all the time. Is that just that was blown out of proportion like one story?
Yeah, I think so.
He did eat there a lot.
He did.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because he
I just
would
didn't know
swing
if
by. It's the closest restaurant that isn't like a burger joint to the
football office.
The West Side Taco Bell.
Yeah, and then he would swing back up with that child and go home.
And it was late at night, so there's only like 3 people in town that would have seen him.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if that was one of those things that was more like someone wrote one thing in an article and then it took on a life of its own. Like
it did. That's exactly what happened. But he did eat.
Oh, okay.
He did eat Taco
People
Bell.
have told me his favorite fast food was actually Chick-fil-A.
Huh.
Well, yeah. I bet you Catfish likes Chick-fil-A.
I do like Chick-fil-A. I got
more Catfish.
I do like Popeyes a lot.
You're very Southern. You have this affinity to Southern things.
I do. Yeah, I do.
We discussed hitting a what is it? Cookout?
Jambalaya.
Cookout. Yeah,
jambalaya or gumbo.
Is there a
Gumbo.
cookout here?
Yeah, apparently there's a cookout down the road somewhere.
Which way?
I don't know. Zach's got it. Zach Carlson's got it zoned in. He knows.
I'll just say that have you ever been there?
Cookout, no.
Okay, I would just say that has anyone on your side?
Yeah, they did it when.
Hopefully what they've described it as, it's not great quality necessarily, but you get a lot of bang for your buck.
Right, that's what they said. They said it's just ridiculous. You can get anything.
Like a burger and chicken sandwich and
corn
a cup of chili or corn dog for like $5.
This place was in Starkville?
Yeah, it's a chain down in the south. Yeah.
Okay.
Cookout.
It's a North Carolina-based place, and they've kind of continued to expand into a lot of the college towns here in the South.
So we're way down the rabbit hole.
We are, yeah.
Folks are getting an expanded final edition
This is what people...
2019.
Just say whatever you want at this point.
Let's just remember that I recommended that place in Starkville, which I totally remember and have not forgotten again, that people enjoyed going to.
Restaurant Tyler.
I'm glad you remembered.
Because it's Tyler
and it seems
Griever's
like
place.
people appreciated it.
It was. Everyone loved it.
So, Matt's like, catfish has terrible taste except for that one restaurant where K-State ate at, by the way. Ryan Lackey and Kenny Lanou, the part of the K-State staff here, they mentioned how good it was. But they had eaten
I did not eat there. I ate at the burger joint Friday night.
That is right. No, you told me Bulldog Burger, right? And that ended up being pretty good?
Bulldog Burger Company.
We're going to reset.
Yes.
This is the Powercat Insiders Podcast brought to you by Commerce Bank. We're going to take a break. You might want to get a beer.
Stay locked in. The Powercat Podcast will be right back.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. I'm here to tell you about Boll & Branch sheets. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. They're made from the rarest organic cotton and designed to get even softer over time. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee plus 15% off your first order with code Odyssey. So head to BOLL&branch.com today. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Diets and workouts, you've done the work, so why can't you get to your goal weight? That's because up to 70% of your weight is predetermined by your genetics. So while you've been told that it's all about your willpower, you're actually fighting your biology. Don't do it alone. Found's Doctor Design program uses medication as part of a treatment plan that targets your body's unique biological needs, so that your body works with you and not against you. Take the quiz at joinfound.com to see if Found's weight loss program is right for you.
We now send it back to Fitz in the WTC gig-powered studios.
Welcome back to the Powercat Insiders Podcast. I'm not sure you gleaned anything from the first half other than Malcolm Perry is a good football player and K-State needs to stop him.
And one of the great things about traveling around doing what we do is finding the great places to eat.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of part of our culture, sports writers. I know our friend Jason King hits barbecue all over the place. And it's just kind of a fun thing to do in this industry. I'm not as wild as I used to be. Used to kind of get after it there, Ryan. I know you're surprised.
You mean at the restaurants?
Bars.
Oh.
Just life in general.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One night, D. Scott Fritch and I, who were rooming together, were both in bed by 10. It's a sad, sad thing.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Riley made me feel extremely old the other day when I was telling people I was proud that I stayed out until 10:30 on Beale Street the other night, and he said he did not go out on Beale Street until 11.
And they got back at 3:30.
Yeah, so goodness.
We are sponsored by Commerce Bank.
Whatever financial challenges come your way, Commerce Bank can help. Commerce Bank challenge accepted, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yep.
This is going to be weird. The game will be over in like 30 minutes.
15.
Somehow they're going to put 16 minutes of playtime into 15 minutes of real time. I don't know how it's going to work out, but the clock may never stop. It should be a quick game. It really should, unless K-State goes past Happy and stops the clock. It should be under 3 hours. We'll get our work done, and we'll actually be able to go out on New Year's Eve. I don't know that I will, getting back to the fact that I'm not fun anymore, but the opportunity will be there for me to go to Beale Street, which is about, 3/4 mile, half mile away from here. Just
2 blocks, isn't it?
It's a little farther than that.
Okay.
It's a little farther than you think it is.
I want to know what the final Catfish rant is of 2019.
Do you have a rant?
I don't know if I've already done this one before, but man, guys, I get so I cannot even tell you how frustrated I get.
Okay. I think
with just people who just ride in the left lane. It drives me insane. It drives me insane because you've just got so many airheads out on the road who I don't know how. And the thing I couldn't believe, no, I shouldn't. Let me phrase it. Not that I don't believe it. Just on my drive here from Georgia to the game, just how many people are constantly texting and driving everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm like, there's nothing in my life that's so important that I need to be looking at my phone while I'm driving. I
want to start a Twitter account called Death Penalty Driving. I think there should be things that are death penalty offenses other than murder and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like driving in the left lane.
Yes. I think it's much more dangerous than speeding.
Kellis,
I'm not saying that.
I know you think that's extreme, but I'm telling you.
Because you know what? At least speeding, I do not upset the flow of commerce in this country. When you're riding the left lane, you are holding people up. And if you need to do that, then get out of the car, talk on your phone, or get on this, whatever you're doing. Just get off the road.
Yeah.
Stop being an idiot.
See, Kellis, my theory on this is if you take a couple people and publicly hang them for driving in the left lane, the problem will be solved.
Hang them
like they used to do with piracy.
Exactly.
In the middle of the street so everyone can see this is what happens to you.
People, the guy that sits at the green light long enough for it to turn yellow and then they speed through and screw everyone behind them, dead. Do one of them too.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Sell tickets at Town Square and go from there.
Exactly. I mean, I just... Because the other thing is, too, is like, you know what? It also shows how self-absorbed you are. That you're like, oh, I can just sit here and do what I'm doing and hold up other people and not even care.
I have done that by accident, but as soon as someone comes up on me or passes me, I'm like, oh, crap, I get over. If I pass you on the right and you stay in the left lane, you're
I did that on my drive over here this morning. This old guy in this truck with his construction material just puttering along, and I'm like, I don't even know why you're in the left lane. Like, you're not passing anybody.
Just smooth.
Did you honk? Did you...
I told him I thought he was number one in my rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I told him. I told him, you're number one. Maybe he didn't use my index finger, but that's what I told him.
Man, catfish.
Right.
But the last thing I'll say on that is also just like, you know what? When you're, let's say, 99% of the time, these people who are texting on their phone, it's like, hey, Stacy, I'm about to be there. Oh, my God, girl, blah, 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 blah. You know what? You're not about to stop some nuclear attack on the country. You're not that important. Shut up and drive.
Stacy might want to know where they're at.
Just shut up and drive.
If they're texting, they're not talking. They don't really need to shut up.
You know what I'm... Well, in a metaphorical sense.
Good working here. Or good work here.
It's like a good rant.
You know what bugs me?
I just hate that I've probably done that one before, but it's like it's such a constant thing in my life that I just feel like there's not really a lot of other things that upset me, but that's one of them for sure.
Can I say something that grinds my gears?
Sure.
People who send Christmas cards and put in the apostrophe in their name, like Merry Christmas from the Fitzgeralds.
Like a possessive?
Putting in the apostrophe, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I see it at least half the families that send me Christmas cards.
But you're saying
Merry Christmas from the Fitzgerald's possessive.
Okay, and that's, again, not people who have a last name that ends with S. You're saying they added in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
instead of being plural, they do possessive.
They're possessing it.
Did you see the
They should work around that by just saying from the Fitzgerald family.
Yeah,
that's the best way
there you go.
That's all you do.
Kellis, do you guys have an opinion? Have you seen that I guess the AP is thinking about changing the possessive with S to making it Fitzgerald's would be S apostrophe S?
Ugh.
Like they're thinking about doing that?
Yeah. I think they're thinking about making it an acceptable option. And it should not be an acceptable option.
We have this conspiracy theory at the Manhattan Mercury that the reason that
this is a K-State sports podcast, right?
Yeah, that the AP does this so they can sell more style books. Because if you're not constantly changing it, then why would you have to buy a new one? I still hate the percent change, like where now you put percent sign.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I don't. But
I've turned into that old guy.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it.
We only do it because there's just so much other stuff that we run on the paper. This AP, it would look weird if we're spilling it out, and AP is putting percent on everything.
Yeah, that's a great thing about what we do. We get to
do whatever you
style.
Want. So yeah, no, this is the content people are tuning in for.
I know
the AP style.
I know a lot of people. We probably want to get into fonts and color.
Yeah,
codes.
Matt, what's your favorite font? What's your go-to when you sit down?
He's gonna say the cat script font because he's paid. He's getting the paycheck.
You seem like a Times New Roman guy.
There you go. Well
Nothing
said.
fancy, just old school, like from Rome.
You'd have to bring it up right now. There's 3 or 4 I like. But Times New Roman. Yeah.
Folks who are listening to this, please look up if you've never seen the skit about Papyrus, that font. That's the one from Avatar. SNL did a great skit with Ryan Gosling a couple of years ago.
Oh, my God, I got to find it.
It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It is so... And Ryan Gosling is great in it. Kudos to him.
Do we have anything more to talk about with the actual Liberty Bowl?
The game?
Because we
haven't given score predictions.
Oh, we could do that. I've done my score prediction. I think K-State's going to win this game.
Easily?
I don't think you beat Navy easily.
When Notre Dame did.
Well, Notre Dame's pretty good.
Yeah.
Notre Dame also plays them every year.
Yeah, they see it every year. I do think K-State, with that added preparation time and coaches who understand how to do this, they will win this game. I picked 31-21 in my predictions.
I think they win on a Blake Lynch field goal.
Like it.
Like a last-second game winner?
I mean, last minute. Maybe
okay.
they give it back to Navy with a minute to go, and they panic with the trying to throw the ball or something. But.
Cats by 13.
Well,
I think 31-28 K-State.
so you guys are thinking a good game. We all think K-State's going to win. I find that interesting. I haven't quite understood the line. I mean, Navy played two really good teams this year. Memphis they couldn't stop them. And then Notre Dame just took them apart. I think there's more similarities to Notre Dame with K-State. K-State's not that good, but I think the physicality and speed, if they handle the option right, there will be a notable difference. I think special teams will be a big difference in this game. I'm intrigued to see how Navy handles the return game, because if you're an academy, we already talked about, you got smaller guys. You got fewer guys that can probably get down the field and cover. So
Won't even kick it deep.
I know. They'll just be squibbing it, and so I'm sure K-State's got some things
I could
to
see it going either way because we've never seen them defend the option before. If it doesn't go well, and Navy's the one that jumps out to a lead, I mean, I could very easily see Navy winning. But for me, even though they've never seen it before, they've spent the whole month working on this.
I know.
It's one thing. It's not like they're going to come out and surprise them with anything. And even though they are mixing things up and they say they're going to have a new package out there, they've been focusing on one thing every single practice. And nothing else has really surprised Scotty Hazelton this season. I think they'll be able to handle it.
That's kind of the way I feel.
Well, it's like you said, Fitz. I mean, just at every position, I mean, top to bottom, K-State's the better team, as they should be, Power 5 school. And if they play like they should win. I mean, because this will be the best team Navy's seen, certainly outside of Notre Dame. I guess it just depends on how good you think Memphis is to whether K-State could beat them or not.
Maybe the one thing to worry about is K-State hasn't played good coming off byes this year.
That's true.
With time off in between games. They lost both games, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Well, because the first one was Oklahoma State.
Right.
The second one was
Baylor. Right?
No. The other one would have been they beat TCU.
That's correct.
October 12th.
They didn't play well, though.
Yeah, they didn't look great in that game.
They won, but they did not play well in that game. I don't know.
Max Duggan is still running on that one touchdown.
I thought he was going to Forrest Gump the damn thing and just go out the tunnel and keep going.
Do a Bo Jackson.
Yeah, just keep
That's
going.
still one of the craziest. It just doesn't even look real when you watch it, like how slow he was running and still scored.
I know. And that, honestly, that kind of play concerns me with K-State, when they just kind of lost track of him and everyone's like, oh, he's running by us. That does concern me. But this team's come a long ways. It's been a remarkable season. When you lose to a West Virginia and you still go 8-4, man, I think there's just real promise here if they can get an offensive line for next year. The lines are a concern for next year, with D-tackle and the entire offensive line.
Were you guys surprised by that question in the press conference? The guy asked Kleiman, does the Oklahoma getting beat like they did by LSU tarnish your win? Like,
lessen it.
What the world? Like,
no.
Not at the time they beat him. Oklahoma hadn't lost.
I know him, and I respect him tremendously. It was a horrible question. Like, did he think Kleiman would say, yeah, it doesn't count now?
Yeah, just take the win away.
Yeah.
We should be.
We thought we were good, but then someone else beat Oklahoma.
Well, I don't think anyone at Kansas State's lining up to play LSU anytime soon. But
God help us.
it shouldn't diminish anything. Come on.
It was, like I say, maybe if he just worded the question better.
Let's talk about this, the Big 12 in these bowls so far. Iowa State was a mismatch with Notre Dame. Oklahoma was a
mismatch with
total
LSU.
mismatch with LSU. In defense of Oklahoma, I think anyone outside of those top three teams, the other two of those three teams, is a mismatch for LSU when they play like that. Joe Burrow was just on the money with everything he threw.
Yeah. Well, nobody stopped that offense all year. I mean, Texas kind of came closest. At least they scored against them. They just never could get a stop.
I don't remember how long we'd been doing this season, if it was quite the midway point, but I remember just after watching LSU a couple of times, to me that was the story of the year in college football because of what they had done in years past offensively. Whoa. I mean, you think about it, what Alabama has been and has done in the last few years, this LSU team would thump those previous Alabama teams. They got some dudes now in a lot of places.
Makes Les Miles look good.
Man, it's incredible to watch.
Well, the dudes he had there are a lot different than the dudes he's got now or he's going to get coming up in the next few years.
Well, Clemson challenge.
Whoa! Don't even try to tell me Les Miles is going to get those kind of dudes in Lawrence.
But no, you're saying, but what he used to have? He had Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham on the same team.
No, I'm saying the dudes that he had are vastly different than what he has now.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant what he had at LSU.
What he's going to get.
I didn't know where you're going with that one.
I got confused. I'm like, well, they had a lot of talent. Dwayne Bowe.
It's a lot easier to coach when you got really good players.
Yeah. What was your question going to be, though, Fitz?
I don't know.
Big 12 in the postseason.
No, I thought it was before.
Oklahoma State gave one away.
Yeah. I didn't like. I mean, they're down 2 of their 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel bad for them.
It's a little different for me now when you have the guys that sit out, that start working on the NFL prep. That's what takes a little bit of the edge off of bowl season these days.
I heard one of the commentators said he was talking to NFL scouts, and they said, they don't hold it against them if they don't play, but they do like it when they do play. I'm like, hold on. So they do kind of hold it against the guys. They just give extra credit to the guys that do play.
Didn't hurt Christian McCaffrey not playing.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt Leonard Fournette, but he's on kind of a train wreck of an organization right now with the Jaguars. But.
Every circumstance is different. I mean, I was glad Chuba Hubbard played.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. He was my second vote in the Heisman.
I hope he doesn't play next year.
No, I know.
Clemson will challenge them, I think, though, for sure. Because
you do. I don't.
This is the exact same narrative last year, guys. That's what I was trying to tell Corbin McGuire. Everyone's like, Alabama's the greatest team of all time. They've won every game by 14+. No one's done that since 95 Nebraska. Clemson's going to get destroyed, blah, 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 blah. And then Clemson waxed them. And then, okay, here, I'm going to hear they're playing in New Orleans. Guess what happened last time LSU played in New Orleans national championship game?
Got thumped.
21-0 by Alabama. A lot of people went home very sad after that game. I'm not even saying Clemson's going to win, but I would be absolutely flabbergasted if they get beat like Oklahoma just did. Come on, guys, this is what I try to tell people all season. All these people that are just stupid who are like, well, Clemson didn't play anybody. They're going to actually face somebody real and get beat. This team is like the 04 Lakers, like back when L.A. just said, forget the regular season, we'll turn on the playoffs. There's a reason Clemson's won 29 straight games. This team knows how to win.
Yeah, they're good. They caught some breaks against Ohio State, but they won. They took advantage.
And I trust Dabo as a coach a lot more, and I trust Coach O just in terms of just in-game decisions. I'll say that. So we'll see. I'm not saying. I mean, everyone's going to saying that Ryan's going to pick Clemson. I'm just saying that it is not going to be LSU 55-19 or something. It's not. It's not going to happen.
We'll see.
But I do think.
How about the story that came out that Joe Burrow wanted to transfer to Nebraska, and he was told that he wasn't good enough, athletic enough.
Yeah, good call. Good call there by Scott Frost.
It reminds me of the great story, the Stan Parrish story, when he was at K-State, went to scout a running back that nobody was recruiting in Wichita. And
short.
Came back and said he's a step too slow and a bit too short.
Too short. He'll never play at this level.
Barry Sanders?
That's Barry Sanders.
Yep.
Barry Sanders could have ended up at Kansas State if Stan Parrish had evaluated him properly.
Well, but I mean,
I thought you were going to say the time that Bill Snyder sent LaDainian Tomlinson home from a recruiting trip because he fell asleep in his office. That might have been a player to overlook that with.
I know. I heard the same thing happen with Travis Kelce when he interviewed with the Chiefs. He fell asleep. They went ahead and picked him. Look what happened.
That's got to be a sign of ultimate that you're a real badass. If you're so good you can fall asleep during a meeting with a prospective employer, this guy's got to be hot.
Let's be honest.
He doesn't even need to stay awake for his
I
interview.
saw that.
We've all been through a Bill Snyder press conference, and at some point we caught ourselves. Oh, no, I think I fell asleep. He just kind of he just lulls you to sleep with that monotone, and he talks, and then you go back and realize he didn't say anything. It was magic.
Well, I mean, I saw that Belichick recently shared a story. That's what happened with Gronk, and they drafted him anyway, too, when he came on one of their pre-draft visits. So that just fits in with Gronk. I'm sure they.
It was Gronk. I totally screwed up.
Like Belichick literally told that story to NFL Network. It was like, yeah, Gronk fell asleep on our floor, but hey, what are you gonna do? That's him.
That's so Gronk.
No, I mean that fits in with his personality.
Hungover.
But what I don't know. Was LT known as some kind of can't miss guy at the time, and Snyder still just said, okay, well then.
And he was probably going to come here and
run track too, I believe.
No way. Well,
and then he just dozed off in his one-on-one with Bill.
Wow. Because then that meant, I'm just trying to remember, that he would have joined like the 98 team. Didn't he play at TCU from like 99 to 98 to 01?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
K-State was getting players back in the day. I mean, '98 team, when you go back and look at it, there were some dudes.
There were some dudes.
And when you consider the best dude really never caught on in the NFL being Michael Bishop, there were still a lot of players that played in the league. Darren Howard played forever.
Mm-hmm. And I understand, guys, it's easy to pile on Frost right now, but at the same time, couldn't you say the same thing about Ohio State telling Burrow to hit the road? I mean, they didn't see this either.
No.
It's always easy to say now when he's on the Heisman. But it's like, if he was that good at Ohio State, we said, no, we can't let you go. Please stay.
You're letting logic
I know.
into this.
I'm sorry, guys. And I know, obviously, anything knocking Nebraska with K-State always.
You got it. That's it.
Yeah. I understand.
So we're having an event tonight down at Jerry Lee Lewis Cafe.
That's an awesome name. Love it.
Will you let him talk?
You can't bring your underage cousin to this event.
Oh,
I know. Jerry
in
Lee
the South, man. That's just wrong.
The owner there, the manager there, she goes, what should we load up on? I said, well, probably Bud Light. I mean, if I remember our old days of Powercat Game Day, we ran a lot of bars out of Bud Light. Mm-hmm. And she goes, oh, thank God it's not Busch Light like the Iowa State fans. They're just famous for their Busch Light. She said another bar owner loaded up on Busch Light and was illegally selling cases of Busch Light to fans in the street. Just making huge profits off of this.
I saw that you retweeted the tweet.
What a sad existence
to
be known for.
I saw you retweeted the thing about them defending KC like Constantinople.
Oh,
I
my
liked
God.
that tweet
Rob Cassidy, one of the greatest tweets ever. If the United States is ever invaded, Kansas City will be the last city to fall because Iowa State fans will defend it like Constantinople. It's so funny. It's so true.
Great way to wrap up the year.
Let's talk hoops real quick, though. Let's. K-State got off the losing ways. They still didn't look great, but they did beat Tulsa. Thank God.
First time in 20 years.
Oh my God.
Nobody beats Bruce Weber 3 times in a row.
I thought, Riley Gates said, do they have to print up a banner for Tulsa and hang it in Bramlage if they get the trifecta sweep? Because that was an annoying 2 losses because they were so inept against Tulsa the first 2 times.
Ugly games to watch.
Oh, they were ugly. This one was better. K-State shot it well. Cardi Jada played extremely well. 25, I believe.
Shot it well later. Did not shoot it well at all early.
Yeah, well, he
down 16-3 and they hadn't hit a 3, and then they started falling, and K-State's defense turned some things into offense, and lo and behold, there was not a call made at the end of the game, and K-State won.
The 3 of us were here watching as best we could on ESPN+.
I noticed that on Twitter.
Yeah, there were some problems people were having. I had no problem with the stream on my phone. Shout out to Missy Decker Heydrich for a great job on color. You had the radio call with Smoller. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry you had to do that with him. But
crosses we all have to.
I know. They had to have that, man.
Oh yeah.
They could not go at the end of the year at 6-6.
The most interesting thing that was said yesterday was in pregame. Apparently, Brad Korn, the assistant who had the scout, used the word desperation. Well, Bruce didn't like that word and said, the word just vanished.
Urgency?
Thank you. Sense of urgency. Well, if it wasn't desperation, it was on the doorstep, and they got out of there with the win, and they needed it. No Antonio Gordon. He had the flu. Not that necessarily was a huge factor, but maybe threw him off stride a little bit. Cartier hit shots. He still made some mistakes. He shot a couple of air balls, fired a pass from 60 feet off the backboard. Xavier Sneed, you still can tell he's trying to carry as much of the load as he can.
The one I appreciate is Dajuan Gordon and how well he's playing defense. Mm-hmm. He's completely bought in on the defensive thing.
Yep, he's not scoring it really very well, but he's getting after it. He's playing like a freshman. Yeah, but when he gets after it, that's fine. That's right.
It's when your senior center is playing like a freshman. It's frustrating. So the much-needed win for Kansas State as they get ready to open Big 12 play at Oklahoma. This isn't a very good team. I mean, it just isn't. They just haven't meshed very well. But maybe we'll see some signs of life here. I don't know. They had to have that.
Oklahoma's a good place to start.
Well, last night's game, the thing that struck me most, not only did they make some big plays in crunch time, which we have not seen all year, their big 3 actually played decent games together. Even Mayween had 9-7.
I was going to say 9-7.
A big block. Had some officials helping them out there, but still counts. Jota 25, Snead 20, right? Or
18,
close to
I
it,
think.
18. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what they've been missing. Normally, it's one of those guys or zero of those guys playing good in games. Yeah. So, I think if they can get more of that, then maybe they can make a run at 6. Maybe 7 conference wins. I don't know.
You're not even giving them a shot at 500.
Ken Palm's only got them winning 13 games all year.
Wow.
Last night's, to show you how bad it's been this year, last night was by far their best win. Ken Palm rating number 119 for Tulsa. It's their first top 150 win all
So they've
year.
got 7 wins between the Big 12 and Alabama. 6 more wins, according to Ken Palm. That's interesting. That might be 5 Big 12.
That's projecting a win at Alabama?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Oh.
The only game, they're only favored in like 2 more games, period.
And that's TCU
and Texas at home. I mean, Ken Palm's for nerds. It doesn't dictate exactly how things are going to go, but when you're only projected to win that few games, it shows you how things are going.
My only thought on Tulsa, and Kellis, hopefully you'll remember this, was the game 2 years ago in Wichita, where they shot, it was like 4 for 25 from 3, but then they had like a scoring error, and at the end of the game it said 4 for 26.
That's right.
And then we got to do the press conference, and I look at it, it says 4 for 27, and I'm like, they were so bad, they kept missing shots after the buzzer. And Tom Gilbert, the SID, just said, well, no, this system we were using, this was kind of messed up. But it was just a thing that I'll always remember.
That was funny.
Because it's like they just kept adding on more misses after the final buzzer.
And honestly, it probably shows that they're going to have a bad year because they beat Tulsa. Their best years come when they lose to Tulsa.
Have been losing to
lost
Tulsa.
and got to the Elite 8.
And then
lost and won the Big 12. I mean, that's like, I don't know, their good luck charm. They ruined it last night. They lose that game, they probably go undefeated in Big 12 play.
That's exactly what would happen.
That is what they needed, that one more loss to Tulsa to really change the fortune.
And you're West Virginia, who beats Ohio State handily, and then you open in Lawrence.
KU's really good.
That'll be a good game.
KU's really good.
And guess where, if I'm not mistaken, the West Virginia KU game is on Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. It's not even on.
You're right, it is ESPN
Wow.
Plus.
2 top 20 teams.
Yeah, they're already mad about it in Lawrence.
They should be.
And Morgantown.
That game should be nationally televised.
I feel badly that I didn't fully understand the degree of problems
This was going to
fans in rural areas were going to have. Not being in a rural area, I didn't understand the scope of how difficult it is to stream when, your internet's coming in over a cell tower. And people are really struggling with it.
The thing that confuses me about it is, can you stream it in bars? Are you not allowed to? There's really no... I know you're not supposed to, but some places do it. I think that's the most confusing thing. And that's really what they need if you're going to televise these games, you at least have to be able to show them in public places. I think that's the thing they got to fix.
Yeah, I think that was... how they didn't understand that when they signed this contract. I mean, the rule is no. But... basically, ESPN Plus said we really only care.
Big 12 officials encourage me to tell people that there's no one's going to.
Right, they're only really worried
for
about their
it.
UFC contract.
Right,
that's all they're really worried about protecting. They don't want bars showing their fights.
Mm-hmm.
But they better figure that out. They better figure it out, even if it's just a simple charge for the bar. I don't know, based on DirecTV does occupancy and. They got to figure it out, but it's not gone as well as they hoped. But it also they're on the front wave of this, and so they're fighting fights here that others will not have to fight because fans will have a better understanding of this when the time comes. I think the whole Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu package helps. A lot more people are. Probably
we're losing catfish here.
Probably
I was just stretching.
Taking a nap on us, Bill Snyder. No, LaDainian Tomlinson style.
And it's my bed, too.
Right? Well, whose bed is that?
That's D. Scott over there.
Yeah.
That's a nest.
Where's the wife?
The wife doesn't come on these things. This is work, man.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
This is work. Speaking of which, we got to wrap up this podcast because I need to go have a drink.
Same here.
I gotta head down to Jerry Lee Lewis. There's a couple bars that are having K-State events tonight. Silky O'Sullivan's, our friends at Manhattan Broadcasting, are there. We're down the road at Jerry Lee Lewis.
Silky O'Sullivan's, that's the place that has that crazy diver drink, right? It's like some big giant. I saw it on one of those Travel Channel shows. It's like a big, like you drink it out of like a one of those
trash cans.
No, I don't think it's a trash.
They had big hurricanes when I was there the other day. I think that's maybe what you're talking about.
Stay away from those catfish.
Big glass.
I've had a couple of those,
red sugar.
Those fish bowl things in Manhattan, wherever that is, and that stuff can.
Right. Stay away from what you're
up.
talking about tonight.
Diabetes.
That too, I guess.
It's the race between drunk and diabetes.
That's a long-term kind of worry for sure.
Yeah. A bar named Alfred's is the Navy bar. There'll be no one in it. So I felt like what I called them and said, "We're the Navy bar," and I go, "Well, good luck with that," because I haven't seen a single Navy fan.
No, I mean I haven't either. No, but like I said, it's impossible to miss all the purple walking around the streets.
A lot of purple. So if you're down on Beale Street, there'll be a lot of places where you can get into. Great music, great food. But be safe. Be smart about where you're at in Memphis.
Watch out for the homeless.
Yeah.
They're pretty aggressive.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, man.
Touché.
Well, so I actually have a story about this real quick.
Okay,
so
here we go.
I put in the wrong. Okay, guys. So I'm driving here to the Holiday Inn.
Was he in the left lane?
Oh no! Oh shoot!
I just gave away the room 1050 at the Holiday Inn
to the Media Hotel, and I put in the wrong property, and it took me to a different hotel. I'm like, wait a second, this cannot be the Media Hotel because there's only 3 floors. That was my tip off because I'm like, well, there's can't be a 15th floor thing for media if there's not even 3 floors. And so I stopped real quick to figure out where I was at. And this homeless guy pushing a shopping cart kind of came up to me, and this is how he sounded like. And so
hello, sir. You look very nice today. Can I have a $20 bill?
And so I did give him a little bit of money, but he
catfish.
But there wasn't that much. I mean, it was a few dollars, and all I heard him say was, "Couldn't give me a couple of $5s," and I'm like, wow, that is.
Yeah,
like I just gave you some money. Like you should be happy. I
just followed it with a Happy New Year and went about your business.
Pretty
right?
much. He then walked into the hotel, I guess, to badger them about money. Too.
Nice.
So, but I just.
I was eating breakfast at like the free breakfast they had at my hotel the other day, and it was kind of raining outside, and so like the whole wall of the breakfast area is just glass windows, and there were at least like 5 bums just staring there looking in at all of us eating. I never felt worse in my whole life.
Well, I mean, I usually will give, especially if I have change on me, I usually always give it. I mean, I don't feel like they need it more than I do. What they do with it, because I know there's some people who say, well, you don't know what they're going to do with the money. I'm like, well, I can't help that. I can only help the mindset that I gave it with.
Be thankful for what you have.
That's my point, yeah.
Amen. Well, that's a good way to end this podcast.
Good way to end the new year.
Thanks,
in the year.
Thanks, Catfish.
I appreciate yeah.
If you haven't figured it out, we got a new nickname for Ryan Black.
It just came out of me mentioning Fitz enjoying catfish. I'm like, I love catfish.
Fitz, my New Year's resolution is to just only call you Catfish. Is that okay?
We can start a new Twitter handle.
At Catfish Black.
Catfish Ryan.
No, at Black Catfish.
Black Catfish. I don't know if I could do that.
That sounds a little different.
Yeah, that the connotation might be I was trying to be catfish hunter and I'm not trying to.
No, I just people put like
just catfish.
Okay, yeah, just add catfish.
Yeah, that might be taken.
That probably is taken.
At that.
Good
catfish.
luck. Let us know next Monday.
Yeah, you got to always put in the underscore if that's what you need. Next.
At catfish_black.
Are we ever going to end this, Fitz? Are we just going to let it keep going?
We're just going to keep
it's
going.
It's going to be one of those podcasts where like we're talking and it just fades as we're talking.
You see, we don't really need to end it because I think the listeners have ended it already.
Oh, that's true.
They're long gone.
They're not even going to make it at this point. As soon as you brought up the Navy bar, they're like, okay.
Yep,
Alfred's, that sounds too bland. Alfred's like Batman's personal bar.
Exactly.
Done.
That's it.
Started and ended it with some good ones.
We're out. Bye.
Blackout.
Bye. Have a great year. We'll be back with the Insiders Podcast in the new year. We're going to talk a lot of hoops. A lot of hoops. They better start winning.
You've been listening to the Powercat Insiders Podcast, presented by Commerce Bank. Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.